How do you know that I'm filming a video? You were just dead asleep 5 minutes ago. I don't get it. Do you have superpowers? Can you talk? If you are a talking dog, speak to me now. I would have had it on camera if it would have happened. So I will be posting a week 5 reflection, but what I'm going to do today is reflect on January as a whole and kind of tell you my progress, what I've learned, some of the things I did that worked well, some of the things I tried that didn't work, and maybe some things I'm going to try to do better this month, even though this month is like a chunk of it is already done. I really need to get on a better filming schedule and editing schedule, but hasn't happened yet. That's the least of my worries right now. I have a lot of them. I have anxiety. I actually do. Like, I'm not just saying that because I worry about stuff. For those of you who don't know what this is, I should probably start with that. I have decided to write a total of 1 million words in 2019. And by decided I'm going to, I mean I'm probably, hopefully going to try to get as close as possible. It kind of boils down to I have to write about 83,000 words every month, a little bit more than that, but rounding. I have to write 83,000 words a month to get to 1 million by December 31st, which is my goal. So you take a big goal, which is 1 million words, you break it down into smaller pieces, which is month by month, 83,000 words. I could break it down further into weeks and days, but that would overwhelm me too much. And I know that about myself. I can break something down to a point, but when I get kind of way too specific, then I freak out and I don't do the thing, and that's not good. I wrote about 70,000 words, a little bit more than that, but rounding. I got to 84% of my January goal and about 7% of the way to my total goal. I don't remember exactly because I've updated it since then. I didn't look and record it on the day, which I really need to get better about recording things in general. I did not meet my January goal. It was disappointing. I was disappointed in myself because I didn't even really get off to a great start. I think I wrote like 1,000 words on the first day, and I should have written more than that to kind of start off, and I should have built up that buffer just in case I had days where I didn't write a lot, which did happen. I didn't do that, and I already in February have not done that again. I'm actually behind, but I'll get to that later. I did burn myself out a little bit. Even writing 70,000 words in a month is a lot. I knew that going in that it was going to be challenging, but I did not plan well enough. And I did not plan for the days when I was not going to get all the writing done that I wanted to get done. So the first thing I learned is, which days I tend to write more and which days I tend to write less. Saturdays are typically when I write the most, depending on the Sunday. There have only been like 4 of them so far, but whatever. Sundays are usually pretty good too. And throughout the rest of the week, it really depends. Mondays are good, Wednesdays are good. I'm looking at a thing, which is why I'm looking down in case you were wondering why I keep doing that. Did you know that I have a dry erase desk? It looks like this, and I can write on it. Can I do this with one hand? Can I do this with one hand? Whee! Oh my god, this is way too much fun. I gotta stop doing this. Oh, was it like this the whole time? Perfect. Oh god. What determines when I write and when I don't? A lot of things. I don't live alone. I live with my parents and my brother and my dog. Would love it a lot of the times if it was just me and my dog. So that comes to the next thing that I learned, which is that I need to move out of my parents' house. And it's not just that I want to meet a ridiculous goal, so I'm going to move. It is time. I moved back in with my parents after college to save money, which was a the smartest decision as an adult so far that I've ever made. I also don't have my own space. This is my office. If you've watched some of my videos in the past year, you might know that I have my own office, but it is kind of centralized within a space that is not mine. So there's a lot going on down here. This is like where people hang out. So doing work when other people are home doesn't always happen, which is why a lot of the time I don't get my writing done in the evenings or on the weekends. At least not as much as I would like to. There are things that I could do to make this better, but just in all areas of my life, it is time for that change. Now, at least I know that that is a problem that has a solution that I need to work on. That's cool, and I will work on that, and hopefully by the end of the year. I don't know, that's not really going to help my goal, but it helped me realize that this is important and it needs to happen. So that is why I'm doing this, to learn stuff, even if it has nothing to do with writing. That's cool, right? I still write best in the morning. If I wake up at around 5:30 and I walk the dog and she's asleep by 7:30, I can probably get like a half hour to 45 minutes of writing in before I have to log into my day job. I try to write during lunch. That is sometimes okay. Still not the best at writing at night at all. That is not my peak productivity time. I knew that already, but I kind of wanted to challenge myself and see if that I could become a night writer. I can't. I tried. It doesn't work. I would rather get up at I'm not saying you have to do this. Don't do this if this is not your thing, but I would rather get up at 4 and write for an hour and a half and then start my day. I would rather do that than clock out of work, take care of the dog, do whatever I have to do, and then come back to my office at 7 and try to write for 3 hours. Can't do that. I can if I'm desperate, if I didn't get something done during the day, like a blog post that I need to get done, I can do it. It's just hard and I'm not doing my best writing then. So that doesn't work. The other interesting thing that I learned, and this is something that I legitimately just didn't really know about myself, is that I'm really bad at writing a lot when I'm working on just 2 things. Let's say I'm working on a book and a blog post, theoretically. And I write a 1,000 word blog post and 1,000 words in my book. That's 2,000 words. If I have done those 2 things, it's really hard for me to go back and say, okay, can I write 1,000 more words here or 500 more words here? Not great at that. But you know what really helps to get your word count up, for me at least, is to work on multiple projects at once that involve writing. So I do a lot of different things. I write for a Star Wars blog website thing. I have my vlog. I just do a lot of different things, and that helps me in a lot of ways. It lets me get all my creativity out in areas that interest me. But also, if I write 500 words in my book, for example, and I'm just tired of working on that book and I don't want to do it anymore, I can move on to something else and say well, why don't I write this post about food or whatever it is? It's a lot easier for me to get more words because I'm working on something different, and it keeps me occupied. I don't get bored as easily, and it makes me feel more fulfilled. I'm working on more things. I'm spreading myself out as a writer. I'm establishing myself in different areas, and also I get paid for some of this stuff. That helps a lot. That might not be something that works for you. You might really struggle working on more than one writing project at a time. You might be working on a book and try to work on something else at the same time and you just can't do it. That's okay. You don't have to. If you'd rather work on one thing and that's what works for you, cool. Keep working on that one thing. Focus on that thing. If you need to focus, if you have a hard time focusing, I would not recommend doing more than one thing at once because you'll just get distracted and overwhelmed and then you won't write anything, and no, don't do that. Am I able to work on multiple projects at once because I've been doing this for so long? Probably. I would say that the ability to shift your focus from one project to another within the same sitting, for example, and not like get distracted by one or the other or anything like that. Yeah, I think that takes some practice. Keep in mind, I have been writing for a long time. Let's just say a decade. It's technically been longer than that, but like, when did I start taking it seriously? Probably when I started my blog. So let's just say 10 years. That's just what I'm going to stick with for now. Whatever, it doesn't really matter. I'm sure that when I started out, I couldn't have done what I do now, which is work on one thing, then the next thing, then the next thing. I'm pretty sure that even I struggled with focusing, and I had to focus on just writing a book, or a blog or whatever, and that's what worked for me then. You might evolve and realize, oh, I can work my blog and also work on this book, and also I have a couple freelancing things. That's something that's a, I don't want to call it a skill, an ability, I guess. That's something that you could develop over time. I would, however, definitely say that if you're just starting out, and you shouldn't be trying to write like a ridiculous amount of words, if you are, but maybe you are just watching this video because you want to write stuff. I don't know. Am I even helping at all? Who knows? For now, just focus on getting the writing done. Doesn't matter how much, doesn't matter how many things you're working on. Focus. Why did I just do that? Dealing with guilt surrounding not writing as much as I want to or anything at all. That's definitely probably the most important thing that I learned in January, is that I still deal with it. When there were a couple of days I didn't write anything, or I barely wrote anything, and I felt terrible about that. And you kind of get into this mindset when you've been doing something for a long time, or you are skilled at something. I'm not going to say good, because I'm not going to just sit here and say I'm a good writer, because, I mean, who knows? You have this tendency to like kind of forget sometimes that you are not great in every area of the thing that you're good at. So it surprised me at first that like I felt this guilt, because so many writers struggle with this. They don't write and then they feel terrible about it and they just get really down on themselves. I'm not immune to that, and I kind of had to remind myself, like, it's okay that you didn't write today. You may be behind on your goal. You could have technically written today, but you didn't. But that does not mean that you can't try again tomorrow, that you can't do better the next day, that you failed today. Is it? You're sighing in the middle of my speech. Not writing is not the end of the world. I think even I forget that sometimes. I am so focused on getting a certain number of words written every day that when I don't do that, I'm like, well, what is wrong with me? Nothing. Nothing is wrong with me. I had a bad day. I got distracted. I was tired. The dog was crazy. Things happened in my life. It doesn't matter what it is. The fact is, I didn't write today. Oh, well, there's nothing I can do about that. There's no point in feeling bad about it. Go off, do something else, try to enjoy your night off that you didn't expect to have. Come back tomorrow and just try again. Don't feel bad about it. I'm going to continue to have issues with this. I will talk about this eventually, but this week has not been great writing-wise at all. I didn't write for like 3 days. Don't feel great about that at all, but it happens, and you have to figure out how to just move on anyway, and you can't see the gesture I just made with my hand. There will be days you write and days you don't. The day you don't write is not a bad day. It's not a failed day. It's just another day. I do need to work personally on planning out, my days, what I'm going to work on, when I'm going to work on it, so that the 0 writing days don't keep happening. But there's no point in dwelling on what you didn't do. You need to focus on what you're going to do next instead. Focusing on, oh, I didn't write and I'm so bad at this, that doesn't help anything. That's not going to make tomorrow any easier. To overcome whatever it is that stopped you, you kind of just need to learn to kind of headbutt your way through it. And the only way to do that is by writing. So I did not meet my goal for January. I'm very behind on, I am not on track to meet my overall 2019 goal. I'm definitely not on track to meet my February goal at this point. But I know now how to kind of bounce back from not great writing days. I know when I'm the most productive and when I'm not. I kind of know what I need to do moving forward to make sure that I keep on track as best as I can. And most importantly, I need to remember that this is just a fun challenge that I'm doing for myself. And if I don't end up meeting it, that does not mean that I did a bad job or that I'm not a good writer or that I didn't accomplish a lot. I wrote 70,000 words in January. That is crazy. I've never written that much in a month before. You should never have to be clear. But, you know, that's a major thing that I did. Celebrate the small victories. This was a small victory, and I technically failed, but I don't feel bad about that. I wish I'd done better, but this is a new month, and I'm just gonna go at it as strongly as I can. If you're just discovering this series, make sure you head back to the beginning and watch all of the videos in this playlist. I've learned a lot. I have a lot of things that I want to say that might be helpful to you or not. And as always, if you're embarking on your own personal writing challenge this year or this month or this week, let me know, because I want to be able to hold you accountable and help you with anything that you might be struggling with, and just making the whole writing experience less terrifying, because it is scary, but it's worth every word. It really is. I promise. If you need some extra accountability week to week, we do have an accountability jeez, why can't I say that word? There is an accountability thread on my Patreon that you can access for free. All you have to do is be a patron. You don't have to give anything. You can if you want to, but I'm not asking you to, because we are all writers and we're broke, and I get it. Don't feel pressured, but there is a community there slowly growing, and I would love if you could be part of it, because I want to help. That is why I'm doing this, really. I'm doing this for myself, but I'm doing it so that I can learn more about writing, so that I can share what I now feel like I know with you. And if you want more videos about writing and things, subscribe. Or go check out my old videos. Some of them are pretty weird, but I'm not gonna delete them, because I am proud of who I've been and who I have become.